So I'm interested in Kennedy's hopeful ascension into that role. Let's assume that there is a bit of pushback, but that he gets there. What does his first 100 days look like? I mean, at best, he's probably got 4 years to pick out what is an enormous institutional problem. We've seen that. You're speaking to at least some of the Australian politicians here who have spent the better part of the last 4 years beating our heads against the brick wall trying to pick through the regulatory and political framework. What does he do when he comes in, and how does that play out? I mean, like mechanically, what can you physically do when the problem is so deep?
Well, the first thing, he's going to have to extract information. I've actually proposed President Trump across the board should appoint a Secretary of Information Extraction. Now, I have no doubt that the shredders, the furnaces and disk drive magnets are probably working overtime to destroy evidence right now as we speak. But we need to get in these agencies. We need to expose the truth. We need to provide documentation of the wrongdoing, hold people accountable so it never happens again. That's job number one, is expose the truth, provide the documentation, hold people accountable.
And so once he's done that, once he's held people accountable, I mean, what does it look like in terms, I mean, one of the things you've highlighted there is this immunity. I think that was brought in under the Reagan administration for vaccine makers. But, I mean, the problem has got to be a whole lot broader than that, doesn't it? I mean, as you say, you've got the problem of people understanding the issues that are around. But, I mean, the problem we've got with bureaucracy, I think, is just the numbers of bureaucrats and the entrenched power structures. Well, I mean, is this a question of disbanding the FDA or rebuilding it, or what does that look like?
Well, again, you have to start at the top because I think most of the corruption is at the top. There's no doubt about that. We've got Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and their Department of Government Efficiency, and I think they take a look at how you can pare down some of these agencies. But again, it has to start with the science. There was a study or a survey done by Nature magazine in 2016 that basically showed that 70% of scientific data could not be replicated. I mean, that's a huge problem. You had the head of the New England Journal of Medicine resigned in 2020, and then reluctantly, I mean, she talked about how reluctantly she came to the conclusion that you just couldn't trust these scientific research that was being published in your journal. You had Wiley Company basically shut down 19 different scientific publications. They had to retract over 11,000 scientific papers because they're just fraudulent. So, I mean, that again, this has been happening for years, just hasn't been acknowledged. You have to, peer review is a joke. Most peer reviewers never look at the data. Sometimes the data is not even made available to them. So, again, you need to bring integrity back to scientific research. Here in America, I'd say globally, we were warned by President Eisenhower in his farewell address. He warned us about the military-industrial complex. His second warning was you've got to be very careful about having government fund research. It'll corrupt research. The researchers will provide the funder with the result they want. And of course, Big Pharma funds most of the research, so they get the result they want. So again, there are all kinds of problems, the pressure to publish, government funding, Big Pharma funding of research, big ag, big food processing. Research has been completely corrupted. We have to uncorrupt it.
And just one last thing from me, Senator Roberts, if that's all right. The other issue, thing that was so stark about this was the ability to get that information to the general public. We saw that all the way through COVID, lots of evidence of all sorts of things that never hit the light of day because the media were largely cheer squads for the agenda. Do you see that changing? I mean, the arrival of X as a free speech platform has been a huge shot in the arm, but even if it can be shown what went wrong and why and who was responsible, do you see any hope there that the general public, I mean, there's always people that are interested. We've got people that know more about this situation topic than I do out there on social media, but getting that to the masses is the next big hurdle as well. How does that play out?
Well, first of all, the Democrats were defeated in our November election, but I think the group that suffered the greatest defeat literally was the media. They were covering up for Joe Biden. They put Kamala Harris on a pedestal. They did everything they could to get her elected, and she lost. I mean, the fact that you have the Trusted News Initiative that sprang up just like that with COVID, worked overtime to label the truth misinformation. I mean, you saw how prepared they were, but they got defeated here, at least temporarily. Now they're relentless. I mean, this is going to be a long-term project here. We need to keep winning elections. We need to keep exposing the truth. But, you know, we do have alternate media. We do have freedom of the media still, freedom of the press. I really do appreciate the fact of all these podcasts now, people like Joe Rogan here in the United States, others. People are getting their media outside the corporate legacy media, and that's a good thing. And particularly these podcasts, it's not in 3-minute segments anymore. It's now hour-long, 2-hour-long, 3-hour-long conversations where people actually learn things. So I'm actually quite hopeful from a standpoint that the back has been broken of the capture of the information by the corporate legacy media. You've got all these alternate sites now, and those alternate sites, in the end, they were victorious here, at least this November. We need to continue down that path and make sure the information remains free. And again, I couldn't give enough praise and thanks to Elon Musk for taking over X and allowing that platform to flourish and provide free speech.